Welcome to the circus Nepali Politics in Action. Nepal, land of the Himalayas, home of Mount Everest, and a political scene that's more dramatic than any reality show. Buckle up, folks, because in Nepali politics, the only predictable thing is its unpredictability. It's like watching a movie where the plot changes every 15 minutes. Just when you think you've got a handle on who's who and what's happening, bam! New characters, new alliances, and a whole new script. And the best part? You can't make this stuff up. It's pure, unadulterated political theatre, and we, the audience, are left both bewildered and entertained. Coalitions, the ultimate reality show. Forget Survivor or Big Brother. In Nepal, the real competition is in forming a government. It's like a political game of musical chairs, where the music never seems to stop. Parties split, merge, and switch sides faster than you can say coalition government. It's enough to make your head spin. Alliances are formed and broken over a cup of chai. You see, in Nepali politics, the enemy of your enemy is your friend, until they're not. It's a constant game of strategy, betrayal, and power grabs. And the only winners? The politicians themselves, who get to keep their jobs, no matter how chaotic the ride. The Constitution. A living, breathing, constantly changing document. The Nepali Constitution. A document that is supposed to be the bedrock of our nation's laws and principles. A document so sacred, it's amended more often than some people change their socks. Yes, you heard that right. It's almost as if the Constitution has become a fashion statement, changing with every season. It's like a work in progress, constantly being updated to reflect the latest political whims and fancies. Imagine trying to build a house on a foundation that keeps shifting. That's what it feels like. Every time a new coalition comes to power, they feel the need to leave their mark on the Constitution. It's almost like a rite of passage for them. They add a few clauses here, thinking it will solve all the problems. Remove a few articles there, believing it will make things better. It's like a game of political Jenga, with the stability of the nation hanging in the balance. One wrong move, and the whole structure could come tumbling down. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for progress and adaptation. Change is necessary for growth. But when you're constantly tinkering with the very foundation of your democracy, it's hard to know what you actually stand for. It creates confusion and uncertainty, not just among politicians, but among the citizens as well. What does it mean to be Nepali if the rules keep changing? Political rallies, where entertainment trumps issues. Political rallies in Nepal are less about serious policy discussions and more about song, dance, and a whole lot of flag waving. It's like a giant party where everyone's invited, but nobody's really listening. You've got politicians delivering fiery speeches, promising the moon and the stars. You've got music blaring, crowds cheering, and enough food to feed a small army. It's a sensory overload, and that's before you even get to the fireworks. But amidst all the fanfare, it's easy to forget what the rally was actually about in the first place. It's like going to a concert for the light show and forgetting to listen to the music. Section 5. Election manifestos. Fiction at its finest. Election season in Nepal brings a special kind of magic. It's the time when politicians transform into poets, spinning tales of a brighter future. Their manifestos are filled with promises so grand, they'd make even the most optimistic citizen raise an eyebrow. Free education for all, universal healthcare, jobs, jobs, jobs. It's a utopian vision, a land of milk and honey. If only it were actually true. But alas, these manifestos are often forgotten faster than a New Year's resolution. They're like those before pictures in weight loss ads, aspirational, but rarely reflective of reality. Section 6. The blame game. It's always someone else's fault. In the world of Nepali politics, there's one thing you can always count on. When something goes wrong, it's never anyone's fault. It's like a game of political hot potato, with everyone scrambling to pass the blame onto someone else. The economy's in the tank? Blame the previous government. Natural disaster strikes? Blame the opposition. Potholes in the road? Blame the guy who was in charge of infrastructure 5 years ago. It's enough to make you wonder if anyone in Nepali politics actually takes responsibility for anything. It's like they're all playing a giant game of not it, and the losers are, well, the people. Section 7. Political vacations. Where do they go when they're not campaigning? We see them on our TV screens, delivering passionate speeches and making promises. We hear them on the radio, their voices filling the airwaves with their latest policies and plans. And we can't seem to escape their faces plastered on billboards all over town, reminding us of their presence. But where do Nepali politicians go when they're not busy campaigning or running the country? What do they do when the cameras are off and the microphones are put away? It's a question that has puzzled philosophers and political analysts for ages. Do they seek solitude or adventure? Do they jet off to exotic islands, far from the prying eyes of the public, sipping cocktails on the beach, enjoying the sun and the sea? Or do they retreat to secluded mountain retreats, where they can find peace and quiet, meditating and pondering the meaning of life, away from the hustle and bustle of political life? Or do they simply blend in with the crowd, enjoying their anonymity, walking through markets and busy streets unnoticed? The world may never know the full extent of their private lives and secret getaways. But one thing's for sure, even when they're on vacation, they never completely switch off. You can bet they're still thinking about their next move, their next speech, jotting down ideas and strategies. Their next chance to grab the spotlight is always on their minds, even in their moments of relaxation. Section 8. The People's Voice. Lost in translation? In a democracy, the people's voice is supposed to be paramount. But sometimes, it feels like that voice gets lost in translation somewhere between the ballot box and the halls of power. Politicians promise the world during campaigns, only to forget their promises once they're elected. It's like they speak a different language, the language of power, ambition, and self-preservation. So, how do we make sure our voices are heard? How do we hold our leaders accountable? It's a question that continues to plague democracies around the world. But one thing's for sure, we can't afford to stay silent. Section 9. The Last Laugh. Finding humor in the chaos. Let's face it, Nepali politics can be frustrating, confusing, and downright absurd at times. The constant back and forth, the endless debates, and the never-ending scandals can leave anyone feeling exasperated. But amidst all the chaos, there's also a certain humor to be found. It's like a comedy show that never ends, where the punchlines are delivered by politicians themselves. It's the kind of humor that makes you shake your head and chuckle, even as you're tearing your hair out. The absurdity of the situations can sometimes be so overwhelming that laughter becomes the only sane response. Because sometimes all you can do is laugh. Laugh at the ridiculousness of it all, at the promises that are made and broken in the same breath. Laugh at the absurdity of it all, the political memes, the satirical shows, and the cartoons that capture the essence of the chaos in a way that words often can't. Laugh at the broken promises, the shifting alliances, and the never-ending blame game. It's a theater of the absurd, where the script is written in real time and the actors are our leaders. After all, laughter is the best medicine. It helps us cope with the stress and the frustration, and it brings us together in a shared moment of levity. And in the world of Nepali politics, we need all the medicine we can get. The laughter acts as a balm, soothing our collective anxieties and reminding us that we're all in this together. So, the next time you're feeling overwhelmed by the political circus, just remember, it's okay to laugh. It's okay to find humor in the chaos and to share that laughter with others. In fact, it might be the sanest thing you can do. Embrace the humor, let it lighten your heart, and face the chaos with a smile. Because in the end,